Honestly, I don't want it to stop, really. Hello, everybody. It's the Bloomz. So what are we calling this? Coffee morning chat? Artists on tour? Yeah, whatever. All of the above. Yes, brilliant. Excellent. Morning, everybody, and welcome. Well, as you know, the main thing we're here for is to talk about the Bloomz show, which is starting tomorrow. It's not just this weekend, it starts tomorrow. Yay! First show tomorrow night, which, now this is where I get confused, which is that's in the UK and Europe. But when it comes to New Zealand and Australia, that's Saturday morning, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yes, you see, yes. There was a gap there. You weren't sure, but
I'm leaving that to the people who know. I'm not going to add to the confusion on that one.
Just want to make sure, because everyone knows we're very global in our group. We've got New Zealand, Australia, Italy, UK. Well, I should say England and Scotland. So yeah, we have to across the globe. So we have to hit all the time zones, which we try very hard to do, and that's why we have, from our time zone point of view, a Friday night, a Saturday morning, and a Saturday night, so that we hit everybody. But the amazing thing about the Bloomz,
Time Buddy.
Yes, Time Buddy. Yeah, get your Time Buddy out. It's my lifesaver. Yeah, I should have got shares in it, really, to be honest, but I keep telling everybody about it. So yes, we are an online, and I keep saying this year, interactive art show, because it is really interactive, isn't it? You can actually be as involved or not as you want, because you decide which rooms you're going in. You go into the showreel room and find out about the artists, move between the rooms, talk to the artist or not. You could have, like us here, have our video on and be, out there, or just think bad hair day, turn it off. It's like,
bed.
Yes, we have had people arrive in bed. That's fine. Turn your video off. We can still hear. And we have the chat facilities and things, and obviously we have our showreel running, so that and we have an awful lot of information about all of this on our Facebook pages, on our Instagram pages, and our LinkedIn pages. So it's all the Bloomz Art House, or even just go to thebloomz.co.uk, and that's all below, so we don't have to keep remembering the website, thank goodness, from my point of view, and also the dates, which I always get wrong, but at least I can just say it's tomorrow now. So the point of today is so that everybody can get to know all of us a little bit better, and our art, and what they can come and find out about this weekend and beyond, because obviously we exist beyond this weekend. We're not just artists for the weekend. So I'm going to play around and put people in the hot seat, if I get it right. And I'm going to go initially to Julie, who is our encaustic wax artist. It'd be lovely if you could tell us a bit more, and obviously we'll just dive in with questions as well, because it's amazing. Let me see if I can put you in the spotlight. There you go.
There we go.
Take it away.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this show. So this will be the first year anniversary, fourth time we've done it, and I just think it gets better and better each time. It's so much fun. And you just get such interesting questions that come up. So I paint with beeswax, which is a very unusual medium to paint with. It's called encaustic painting because I paint with hot molten wax. So I manipulate it whilst it's in its hot molten form, and then as it cools, it settles into its final resting place, if you like. So that brings up all sorts of questions in itself. But yeah, I've got some brand new paintings this time that people have never ever seen before. And I'm bringing some of my encaustic pieces on paper, which I haven't brought many of those to the show previously. But all still very intuitively led. I just get this feeling when it's done. I kind of start off with a rough idea of what's going to come out on the paper, and then it just flows, and then it's just like, yeah.
So do you have anything in your mind? Do you have a thought in your mind when you start, or do you just completely go with the flow?
Yeah, no, I'm drawn to colours and shapes, and I kind of start off with that, and then sort of through the process, it's like, oh, that needs, and then often my eyes will just fall on another colour, and I'm like, oh, that's what I need to do next. And it's almost like sometimes, if I'm doing a portrait of copying something, not copying, but I've got something in mind. I do kind of have a bit of an end goal in mind, but I still like to have that. I like to work with that intuitive aspect, because when I try to do something myself, it doesn't come out nearly as well as when I just go with the flow, basically, and let it happen. So, but yeah, you just get these amazing, just the colours and I don't know. I'm a bit biased because I love the medium. For me, it just holds an absolute special magic that personally I don't find with other mediums, but that's just my thing. But yeah, just the kind of that hot melted chocolate, kind of the way that if you cook it and you get that lovely, like it kind of goes on like that, and just the tactile nature of it, just everything about it. It's hot and glossy and shiny, and love it. So yes, that's what I'm showing.
Find your medium, though, isn't it? Like, that excites you. You can see you light up when you talk about it, and I love that about artists when they find their medium, and it's like you're like, I'm incredibly biased. Yes, you are. Of course you are, and so you should be. It's like, absolutely.
I just saw one. I saw a painting. It must be about 10 years ago now. I was at an exhibition, and it just stopped me in my tracks. And pieces of art sometimes just have that impact on you. And I thought, I've got to find out what that is. And I've got every medium under the sun upstairs in my studio, but that's the only, with the layered pieces, you can actually incorporate a lot of your existing art materials within the layers, which is really good. Pretty much most things apart from acrylic and wax don't mix at all. But yeah, a lot of the others do. But yeah, just something about the wax. It's me. So yes, so hence that's what I've stuck with for the last 10 years, and run countless, I've taught people, I've done demonstrations, talks. It's been lovely sharing it with so many people, and it's a very underknown medium in the UK particularly, so it's good to kind of share that with more people.
It's such joy to share it as well, isn't it? It's that
I love it. And everyone's like, encaustic what? So the first hurdle is explaining what that means. It's not the wax that's encaustic, it's the process of heating the wax that makes it encaustic. So there's an explanation thing there, but it's once people see it and discover it and get over the fact that no, it's not going to run down your wall, that's the first question that everybody will it melt? And it's got a very high melting point, the particular waxes that I use. So it's not going to, don't panic, it's not going to be running down your walls.
Fantastic. And the pieces behind you are all very sort of like abstract or landscapes and that, but you have done portraits, haven't you? Yep.
So I've got a couple of portraits that I'm sneaking in a bit further down the line. I can't stick too many things. So I've just got these particular small ones on my display board behind me, but I've got some others that will be on my show reel, and then I can pull them out and kind of show people as I go. I haven't actually got the exact ones to hand at the moment. I'm still setting up underneath. So these are sort of very abstract and sort of landscape type. So these are the ones on paper that I was saying about. So these particular ones need to be framed to keep the paper straight. But often I'll give this as an example. Often I will paint them on this one it's finished. I haven't taken the edging off yet, but on a wooden board, and they'll often have a deep, or a wooden board on. So this is one I did in
They're like ready to hang the moment you finish.
You just literally pop them on the wall. So again, this is an abstract. This is actually for a project I'm working on with some people in the States, but it gives you an example of this one I've got to hand. But that literally just hang that on the wall as is. You can add a frame if you want to. So I'll have more of those around that I can kind of do that at the show and kind of show you pieces. So as the show reel's going around, you can say, "Oh, can I see that one?" And I'll go. So, or I can take any of these down off. Yeah, exactly. Take any of these off the wall behind me. So.
Fabulous. You were mentioning that it's really hard to photograph your encaustic work. What is the difference between a photograph and actually seeing it in person?
Oh, the amount of people that they love it on me. They obviously get attracted, and often though people say it just spoke to me, I had to have it. So that's really lovely when that happens. But often when they see it, they're like, "Oh my goodness, it's even better in person." And it's just it just doesn't seem. It does photograph, but there are so many nuances with the light. It changes throughout the day. I can be here now. I've got it's daylight. Come the evening, they'll look completely different again. And if you kind of, often you'll come in and the sunshine will shine through, and they almost kind of go like a luminous colour, some of the colours, and they just catch your eye at different times in different ways, and it's just impossible to
you couldn't get
in a
all those
single
different
image.
versions of it across.
Yeah. They're all beautiful, they almost kind of have a life of their own. I think because it's a natural organic material that I'm working with. I always
So let me just tell you who's listening. Sorry, Mac. So we've got Sammy, Steve, and Fiona who are listening away. So all say good morning. And Steve, who is our Bosley at the show as well, of course. And he says, "Oh, what's that behind Julie? Oh, that's her art at last. Because your little 30-second intro, you didn't have any of your art behind you." It's hilarious. I love that.
I was telling about that. Yeah, we were talking about it. Oh, the first ever show a year ago. So a year ago, I was at my old studio then, and I must have spent all day trying to set my backdrop up to make it look right, because we had to get this the 30-second intro clip needs to be done. Well, I think it's 2-3 weeks ahead of the show, to give Stephanie time to do all her magic with the video clip. And I was looking back through my photos the other day, and it took me, no lie, I counted them, there were 20 takes to get my 30-second clip done. Yeah. And everyone is like, everyone, I messed up my words at some point, and it was retake. Well, I should do an outtakes clip of it, really, because it was some of the best bits. It took me 2 days to do one 30-second clip practically, or, certainly a day anyway. Might be a bit of an exaggeration. And then this one, it was like, no, that's it, right? Okay, handheld. Yes. By the time of the exhibition, I will have art behind me.
We said, I will have a proper stand. I will have art behind me. Come and see me. My room is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
So yeah, there we go. It's that's it's just fun. So it's funny how things change within a year. You have to kind of go from being absolutely perfect to, but that's the nature of the show, isn't it? It's fun, it's friendly, it's informal, and there you go. And I always manage to get it. It's always there by the time of the show.
Yes. Skin of your teeth, they call it.
Yeah,
exactly. Excellent. Okay, so let's have a little chat with Mac, shall we? Yeah, into the limelight. Yes. Woo. So. Mac, so tell us about your art and also what you're going to have at the show.
Okay, well, my art has been made with chewed gum. And yes, you heard that correctly. Chewed gum.
Unusual, but
very unusual. And I've made these pieces with other materials. Sometimes it's plastic, sometimes it's made in a mold, sometimes it isn't. It just depends on what I'm doing or the concept I'm working on. But the reason why I chose chewed gum is that I was bedbound for a long time and I was unable to speak, write or draw. And as an artist, that is kind of like hell. So in my mind, I began to create installations. When I became well enough to research it, well, actually, I need to backtrack because the doctor came and I remember her saying to my husband, "Is she chewing?" And at that time I was, and I thought, there's a connection there. So I actually found out about that. And apparently chewing is really good for developing of speech, but not only that, it's about developing cognitive function. So the act of chewing gum is one to enable me to think much more clearly and quicker and be able to express myself. But as many people know from coronavirus, that we've had restrictions imposed upon us, and somehow we are all here now and we have found our resilience, and it's how you do that and valuing it. And very much my work is about that, but about much more as well.
Excellent.
Oh, what do you do at the show? Yes, I really forgot. I'm pondering the question or asking the question, what are the links between Harris tweet, a snowball, chewed gum, and a blue butterfly? And through exploring that, I will be showing you some underlying themes or connections that are involved in my thinking process and my work. But I'll also be doing one card oracle card readings, angel oracle card readings, with an opportunity to have a more in-depth angel spread for a donation to charity.
And that would be arranged after the show rather than at the show.
That would be arranged after the show. Yeah. But the one card reading will be during the show.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant. So going back to your art, Mac, what always amazes me is, I mean, so much thought, so much of you goes into your work and your process, which is obviously a very long process because of the chewed gum and getting it to like consistency and then being able to mould it and everything. But what then fascinates me is that when you produce your work, you're happy to just leave that out there and have someone have their own thoughts about it and not necessarily know all that. Even though you've put all that into it, you're just you take that how you want it. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think the essence of each work, I think, brings a spark, which is interpreted in an individual's way. So how people interpret it is up to them. But there's something about that work that connects the artist, the medium, and the person who's viewing it.
Right.
For there to be a communication, I think, because I think it's hard to communicate with something you don't resonate with in some way.
Sure. Yeah. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because the reason we discussed this before, because I was saying I'm very much someone who, when I go and see a piece of art, whilst I like to put my own interpretation, I do like to know what the story was before or what went into it, even if I think, no, don't see that. What I see is this. But it's like, it's almost, that's a part of but it's just really interesting how we all come to our art in a different way and what we then, it goes on. And but I always think also with you is you love the discussion, don't you? You love the whole conversation about it. And
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Always thought provoking, and all of your pieces your installations and everything, you always go, wow, okay, now I need to think about that. And that's deliberate on your part, isn't it? I always think, she's done it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. Love that.
I always find medium as well with, you start off and it's like gum, but then when you hear the story behind why you've chosen gum to put it, and it's just like, wow, okay. And like you say, that then kind of gets the cogs whirring and makes you come from a completely different viewpoint. So
yeah, suddenly makes sense, doesn't it? Absolutely. And you did your angel card readings at the last Bloomz show, and they were very popular, weren't they? Which is why
they were. Yeah.
But you're, as I say, that's why you're doing this. It's one card, isn't it? And actually at the show for people, and then if they love it, they can arrange a longer term. Yeah. Brilliant. But you also have your show reel, which explains an awful lot, so people can come along, watch your show reel, and either ask you more about it or just go away. That's also a lovely thing about, because at the show we actually have the chill out room. People can even watch a show reel, go away and think about it, and think, hang on a sec, I need to ask them about that. And then they can come back in and go, yeah, now I've been thinking about that. What does that mean? Or what does this mean? Because, as I say, I always think your work is that kind of thought-provoking, and they have that opportunity to do that. So, yeah. I'm just looking down the comments now to see. Oh, Sammy. So Sammy says, girls, since the creation of the Bloomz, has the way you create your art or view your art changed? Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because we were actually saying about this. Let me put us all back up. And we were saying about this. So over to you, Julie.
We were literally talking about that exact thing just before the show, between the three of us, and just saying how within a year, how much we've all changed and evolved, and like our you know, our art has grown, and it's lovely seeing each of us individually. We're all kind of going in our own directions. So Mac, you with the angel readings and the Akashic records, we've recently become qualified in. Cindy's been doing she's kind of gone down, well, she's also done this that certification as well, I believe, and spirit animal side. And, you know, Stephanie, you've been doing, you know, another program, haven't you?
Mediums and things into my absolutely, yeah.
And we've all kind of been growing out, but we all still get together more or less every couple of weeks anyway, and just kind of have a little catch up with each other. And it's just been fascinating how much over the course of the year we've all kind of grown and expanded over that year. So yeah, that's exactly.
And I do think we feed off each other as well.
Definitely.
We did actually do a proper review of each other, having how we feel each other's work, because sometimes you can be a bit insular about your own work and how you describe your own work. And it was just really fascinating to see what everybody else thought about our art, and what they, even suggestions of we might try or not try, which, you know, like all things, people can say things to us and we can reject them or not. But it's just really added to that whole, oh yeah, I can do that. Or even like the gold leaf thing, which initially, wasn't it? I think Liz Chatterton originally was the gold leaf girl. Then Fiona kind of took it on and put it a different way, because Fiona puts the gold leaf on the canvas and then paints on it. Whereas I believe Liz does the painting and then adds the gold leaf. Yeah, and there was all these different mediums and ways where we all go, ooh. And when I was doing my hummingbird that time, and I had to ask, Cindy had to keep giving me loads of how was I going to get this shimmeriness from, you know, and things. And we were able to just feed off. Oh, Fiona's got excited because I've mentioned gold leaf.
I know. Well, that's why this isn't finished, because I'm thinking of putting gold leaf down the sides of the edges of my thing. So again, just that one idea, you use it in a different way, but that's what I love about everybody, not necessarily artistically, you know, with thoughts, concepts, everything.
Absolutely. Well, I used silver in the hooves of my Pegasus.
That's right. Yeah.
So you sort of think, I would never have dreamed initially, because I was always like, I'm a fibre artist, you know, and I sculpt with fibre and I don't use anything else. And you think, why? Why would you not use anything else? You know, I don't know, really. I think I must have seen it written somewhere or something. No. And that's also the thing, is that we all almost give each other permission to do whatever, isn't it? It's like, why would you restrict yourself like that? Why can't you? And you think, oh, yeah, oh, okay. And it's just, it's an amazing opening of the floodgates almost of, we can do everything. Even if, like, sometimes you try things, then you go, no, that didn't work. Well, just move that aside. Won't be sharing that one with the world. Oh God, which is hilarious. But I love that. I love that about, and that's also the feeling that we try and get across at the show as well, isn't it? That whole chatty, we love to talk about our art and share it. And whilst, you know, brilliant if someone comes along and says, oh, Julia, I feel inspired, I must buy that piece of art. But that's not the requirement of coming to the show. It's for them to come and say, tell me about that blue, or can I see this? And let me talk to you about what we do and why we do it. And the fact that, you know, we absolutely love what we do.
100%, yeah. It's about sharing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that when we were, I'm going to read something. So Sammy's on, isn't she? These are actually Sammy's words, if I can bring it up. I was saying that we did a review of each other's art. And the brilliant thing about Sammy is she writes essays. This is also, I love, is our whole different approach. So, Julie, you go, well, I'm just going to go with the flow. Me, I've done so much research before I've even picked up a needle, you know, and stuff. You know, I've got skeletons, I've got pictures, I've studied the animal, you name it, I've named it probably, you know, and everything. And then I get going. But I think I have to do all that so I can then let it flow. And then I can really get to know. And now, what is amazing is Sammy wrote better about my process than I ever could. So that's what I love, that she not only got me, but she got my process and then wrote it. So I'm going to read what she said about what I do. So what she said is sculpture allows you to feel the form of what you are creating, to actually infiltrate every fibre of your creation with your own physical energies. And this is quite apt, as these sculptures are created from various types of fibres, from natural wool, plant-based to man-made recycled plastics. The essence of each animal is recreated in the colours used that make you believe and in your spirit know that a lion, of course, would have a purple mane. Stephanie uses her intuitive senses to pick up on the spiritual side of the animals that she is sculpting, allowing her the freedom to follow their lead without stumbling over boundaries. For the spirit of the animal, boundaries do not exist. Each piece carries so much detail and hours of focus, for it is not just the outer layer that is created with such precision, but the bone and the muscle structures. These magnificent creatures are crafted every time as if they were being made to enter the original Garden of Eden. Isn't that amazing?
That is wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
I love the fact that, number one, I could never have expressed that. But Sammy did for me.
Sammy can.
And I'm like, yes, Sammy, that's what I do. So, you know, how brilliant that she was able to
Sammy's
get
our
it.
words lady, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
so there you go, that's what I do.
I'd love to see your work in the spotlight, to be honest, Stephanie, and have a look at your Pegasus and your pride, your lion there you're just talking about. Can I just say as well, just quickly, Stephanie, just when you moved back from the microphone, it was just a couple of times, it was quite hard to hear you. So maybe just...
Let me see if I can move that microphone over a little bit. So
a little bit closer.
It's me wobbling about a bit here, yeah. So
no, that's fine.
But
that's better. I can see your Pegasus now in the background.
Yes, so you can see them now, can't you?
So this is the one with the silver hooves.
Yeah.
Is that right? We're going to get a close up.
Yeah.
This is what it's like at the show. You can ask a question, and then we'll all
come up and say yes. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Silver hooves.
That's phenomenal.
Defying gravity there. But solid silver by alchemy, because I've started calling myself the fibre alchemist, and it was after I started playing around with silver and moulding it, and
that is so stunning.
It starts off as clay, and then you mould it. And I said, like an alchemist, a fibre alchemist. And then someone else was saying the other day about, you know, an alchemist of light. And I was thinking, I'm loving this word alchemist. It's fabulous, isn't it? About bringing things together and making them work.
And transformation.
Yeah. So,
which is
and hopefully, so the sea turtle, a little Thetis, bless him, has been bought. But I'm doing a gecko to go with it, which will be ready because hopefully Val, who has bought both pieces, is coming to the show. So I want to be able to go show her at the show, which will be lovely. That's the one. Also, a really nice thing about the show is that you can have your collectors come along, and actually you can really do the whole, because like they're in America and places, aren't they? So it's not like we can just pop next door and see them and show them
all over the world.
But even if you're new and not current collectors and just want to find out about it and still you know want to see them up close, that's good too.
Well, how you go from a ball of wool to, or a ball of fibre to that is just, I mean...
It's funny, isn't it? Because you were saying about medium and that you saw a painting and thought, oh my God, give me some of that. And I was the same. I saw a sculpture and thought, what on earth is that? I just couldn't even work out. And, you know, this thing said needle felting. And like you, it's quite a new... I mean, felting's been around for years, but needle felting is from the industrial age, and sculpting, like we do, is like the 1980s. So it's still relatively new. So you're like, because it's not a needle either that you use. I mean, it's completely bizarre. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to call it needle felting when you don't use a needle, really. But there you go. But I've always loved sculpture, the whole 3D. And I think I could never draw, but it was always 2D. And of course, I was an interior designer where I could actually visualize rooms in 3D. And you think, I still haven't quite grasped the connection until I saw those animal sculptures and you went, that's what I want to be able to do. And that's it, you're in. And it's like, yes, the textures and all the different, and of course, since then I found out so many different fibers and so many different textures. And I do have that part about my personality where I do love to study things, but then just go with it. You know, I have two, I was an accountant and an IT professional, but equally an interior designer and artist. I definitely have those two sides to my, so I'm able to do that because I can do all the studying, all the things, and then just go, yes, and go.
Yes,
and create, but still there's all those details inside, which I do love, Wow.
Because even down to Thetis, you used a different fibre.
So
didn't you?
Thetis, because I originally did Thetis for a competition with regards to, I'm trying to think, the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation. And because sea turtles, obviously plastics and everything, and I found this fantastic fibre, which is made of recycled plastics. And I thought, how apt.
Yes.
If the centre, the whole of the core of Thetis is recycled plastic bottles. And the thing is, it felted hard as nails, which is brilliant for the sea turtle and the shell and everything. So I can use it in other sculptures if I want something really, really rock hard. But it was just brilliant. And also all of the colours are plant-based fibres on Thetis. There's been a lot in the felting world about the fact that, you know, you can't use this and you can't use that. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can use anything, you know. So as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. I think that in lots of different mediums, they kind of go, you can only do this, or you can only do that, or to be a painting to be good, it needs to be this. And it's like...
Yeah. Or it's that's not real felting. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, exactly.
That word can't is like a red rag to a bull, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Exactly.
Not allowed to do that. Oh, watch me.
It's the rebel artists.
Oh God, yeah, hilarious. I love it. No, but that is the joy of the meeting up with everybody. You just say it's like on a week. Well, not all of us meet up on a weekly basis because some of us are doing something else, but we always have a group of us meeting up, don't we? And if ever anybody's like stumbling or going, I have no idea where I'm going at the moment. And it's funny how once you've actually talked it through, you go, oh, I did know where I was going. I just needed to express it, you know, around people who you feel safe with. And that's the thing, isn't it? That we can just talk endlessly, knowing, because we all, come from different countries, different walks of life. But, you know, the thing that we absolutely have in common is art. But, I mean, before I met you guys, I didn't even call myself an artist. So, you know, how we've changed. What's Sammy saying here? Sammy's saying some people are scared of change, but the Bloomz are here to push the boundaries and never say never. Absolutely. So right, Sammy. So right. Yeah, no, we are. And the same with the show, as in the show that we do is quite different, isn't it? The way we've set it up. And I know I always say whenever I say the word Zoom, I feel like people are just going to turn off the moment you say it's on Zoom. They go, oh. No, it's the Bloomz Zoom, which is different. You know, it's not a case of just coming in and watching like on a webinar or waiting till you put your hand up, you know, in meetings like you do. Yeah. You actually decide where you move around and what you see and what you do and whether you have your video on or not. You know, there's no one there saying you must have your video on or, you know, you must be muted, or there's none of that, is there? You just do what you want.
I think that's the other thing to explain. It's not like now where you've got the three of us in our studios together. You, as a visitor, you actually have controls to go and visit Mac's room, and chat individually. Well, I say individually. There might be other visitors in the room at the same time, but you can also see how many people are in a room at the same time. So you can actually think, oh, that room's quite busy. I'll go and see what's going on in there, and then I might not need to chat very much. Or you could say, oh, there's nobody in with that artist. I'll go and visit that artist, and then we can have a conversation one-to-one. And, you know, you choose what works for you. And then once you've finished in Mac's room and had your annual reading or just discovered more about her art, you then think, right, I'm off to see Stephanie now. Yeah. And then you go off and you'll see Stephanie show you and the background and have that opportunity to. But it's like going to a shopping mall and kind of, right, I think I'll go for that boutique now.
Absolutely. And I think also one of the things, like when you go to a gallery, I've certainly felt this, which is, you go into a space where there's just the artist. And of course, the artist is being friendly and comes over and says hello. And you think you've walked into the space and you've suddenly realised this isn't your kind of art. But you now feel the need to stay and talk to them about their art because you don't want to be rude. And, and you're all the time you're just thinking, at what point can I actually just say, that's lovely, I'm going to move on now. And I always want to say, well, the thing is, in the Bloomz show, people don't get that because you can come into the room and say, I'm just going to watch the show reel because next to us, much bigger, is our show reel. And this has happened several times at the show where someone's just watched the show reel and then said, oh, thank you very much, and then left. Perfect. You've seen what I'm about. Make your decision whether you want to find out more or whether actually some people just go around, watch all the show reels and then decide who they want to go back to. And other people love to talk endless with people. And we're all different how we do it. And you can do that and not be made to feel like, oh, my God, I've got to stay a bit longer.
Yeah. Well, it's a click of a button, It's like, we'd like you to say cheerio, thank you very much, and goodbye. But equally, if we're boring the heck out of you, all you got to do is press move.
Absolutely. Sorry, press the wrong button. Move.
Or ask to be moved if you're not quite sure how.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's actually what's great now is that originally when we started, iPads were really difficult for people to negotiate around, but Zoom have actually upped the controls. And Steve, our Bosley, was saying that last time he had far less people having to keep coming back to him at reception so that he could move them, or for us to, because the controls were much easier for people to, but they can do that as well. I mean, even if they can't go to the next room, they can go back to Bosley and say, in fact, people do this, they like Steve to choose where they go. They go, I don't want to make a decision, and he'll look and think, well, do you want to go somewhere busy or not busy? And then he'll decide for them and put them in. So you can have your decisions made for you or make your own decisions, whatever personality type you are.
Absolutely. But we can move people to different rooms as well on their behalf now, can't we, as well? That's another function. So you could be talking to us and say, right, I'm ready to go. Who do you recommend? And it's like, well, fancy a bit of, gold leaf, or let's send you to Fiona, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I quite like that, actually, when people ask me. And I think, what do you like? Let me tell you.
Like a trail. What should we do?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I know who you need to go and see next. Absolutely. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. So, right, Sammy again. She says, you will never get the opportunity to speak to artists at a live gallery situation as you can with the Bloomz. Well, that's true. Because, at a gallery, either, you just can't get close to the artist. Or, mainly, they're protected. Well, at a normal gallery, the artist won't even be there, will they? It's more, the opening night, when artists are actually there, so you can go and speak to them. But on an opening night, they're more likely to be. I was going to say that, like it wasn't going to happen at our show. I was going to say they're more likely to be drinking some champagne, but we do that. We do drink champagne, don't we?
Oh, crikey, yeah. Bring your drinks and snacks along.
How nice. I love that. As I'm talking to you, someone's just got a ticket to go to the show. Isn't that nice? I love it. It goes, ticket purchase. And they're free, but I always say purchased, but they're free.
Yeah.
And it's our first anniversary year.
Yes. Our anniversary show. Woo! Lots to celebrate. Yeah.
Which is fabulous. Yeah.
Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And we always have our own little after show party on the Saturday night, but just saying.
I loved that photo I snapped. It was literally, it could have been a caption competition. We had the rehearsal last weekend and we were all sitting in one room together having a chat. And Max, we were talking about having our champagne bubbles and whatever tickle of choice going on. Max face was like, I'm drinking water.
I'm so disappointed. Everybody else has got alcohol and,
so alcohol's not compulsory, but
no, it's not. But it's just a few of us like bubbles.
Yeah.
So it seems appropriate that
bubbles and gin seem to be popular themes, don't they?
Yeah,
bubbles
all
good fun.
Yeah.
And of course, we're drinking coffee on the Saturday morning show.
Yes,
All the Aussies
yes,
are having a party. But
Well, that's the thing on the on our Saturday morning. It's Saturday night in Australia and New Zealand, and the Australians always have a bit of a party going on in Cindy's room. And I know we go on and on about this, but it's hilarious. And I'll tell you what, this year I'm going to gate crash it.
Yes,
if everybody's in there, so am I.
Yeah.
Back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, back in 5 minutes up and I'm off. Yeah.
Well, we were laughing. We've got the functionality to move them now, weren't we? We were saying we'll have to go. You know the old chat of the talent show. And you get the crook, and you'd be like, right.
Well, we were going to say that each of us were going to pick on someone, weren't we? We were going to just pull them each one out to a different room, and they won't even know what's happening. They just suddenly go, vroom, and then suddenly there's nobody in Cindy's room, and she'll go, what the?
Then we can pull them all back in again.
Yeah, and put them all back in.
Yeah.
Don't know what you mean, Cindy. What do you mean? What happened?
Yeah, technical glitch. Oh dear. Anyway, you can tell this is a very serious art show.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's all about it, isn't it? Having fun, enjoying. That's what we do. We do what we do because we love it. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So right. So we just need to remind people. As say, people are obviously getting the hang of it because I just saw a ticket be registered for as we were sitting here. But just go on to thebloomz.co.uk and there's a big red button at the top that says tickets. Click on there. And you do pick a show, but actually it's the same link for all of the shows. So if you get one for Friday and think, oh, couldn't make it, doesn't matter, just turn up on Saturday and it's absolutely fine. But just need to register so you can get the link, basically. And Bosley will be waiting for you when you arrive at the show and we'll tell you all about it and, make sure you got all the controls up so that you can then navigate around and have a great time. So anybody else got anything else they want to say before we disappear?
No, just look forward to seeing everybody at the show.
100%. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So, bye everybody. See ya.